Hey, it's Arrow. If there's one thing I've learned about being a published author, when that bug bites, the desire to write intensifies. Hosting podcasts is no different. You got to break it down here. You have your shows, not channels, but shows with episodes. Coming from radio, I program 9 different shows with exclusive features that draw listeners closer to the content-driven connection. See, what we'd like to do on this episode is we'd like to open up the imaginations of everybody who would like to do a podcast. But we want you to do it right, because there's no feeling better than watching your numbers go up. This is Pod Crashing. All right, today we're going to put the focus on the unlucky 7 dark spot. See, 7 seems to be the magical number that newcomer podcasters reach before they move on to something a little less time-consuming. The first few shows, everybody's checking out the brand new vibe you got. The analytics are popping, which makes you feel great, until week number 7, and you're going, man, those numbers aren't there. I gotta go. By the time that you get the gang back together for show number 8, someone's got a new reason to spoil the season. They can't make it because they aren't feeling it in the moment. Or, hey, couldn't find a babysitter. Which I can't help believe is the reason why multiple podcasters set aside a Saturday or a Tuesday night at 6 p.m. to throw down not one, but several shows. Now, I'm not saying that's wrong. I just know that listening habits can pick up the tiring of vocals and lack of fresh ideas, especially if you've hooked yourself up to a 30 or 60-minute show. Nothing creatively injures a podcaster more than those annoying days after you think, you killed it on that show. Man, that was good. But the numbers aren't proving it. So how do you get past the unlucky 7 dark spot? If you've teamed up with others to make your magic work and they decide not to show, let them know how much you put a dent in your dedication. No. Here's a better idea. Whoever is the ruler of your podcast kingdom, remember, it's your show. Those that post a no-show are only guests. I mean, Howard Stern says it best, man. Whose name is on the show? I get it. Life gets in the way, but don't let the unlucky 7 dark spot suck the wind out of your sails. I mean, even when you aren't in the mood to spin your wheels on a fresh set of recording tracks, get into that studio and lay out a map. Don't be winging it, baby. Leave that for the Wing Shack with their 8,000 different flavors. I do kind of chuckle when other podcasters will reach out to me bragging a little bit, going, man, I just hit show number 10, Arrow. Look, man, I'm doing good. Look, I love you for the endless supply of dreaming while supplying listeners with the unique behavior of your voice. But we got to speak the truth here, okay? Podcasting is no different than being the chosen voiceover talent to read an author's book. That phone call comes in, man, your world is rocking. You get to page 1, man, you're feeling good. And then you realize the book is 235 pages long, but you can't stop. You're going to lose out on the money. Oh, speaking of that, money. That 5-letter word has a huge push on knocking a lot of creative butts off the podcasting path. A ton of wasted time and no sponsors again today. That dull ache of never getting lost time back eats away at your every attempt to do another great show. So, what do? Usually, people try a brand new idea. Oh, look. Your podcast has been heard on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and iTunes. Oh, it's what I call second-level motivation. Oh, it is a party animal in a box. You feel like you're a little bit more famous than Mario Lopez. ESPN who? What you don't realize is that now you've got even a bigger problem. You took your podcast to a bigger platform, and they need your content for their sponsors. If you aren't delivering, well, what happens next? Well, you're taking up valuable space on their expression of art. I guess the moral of the story this week is to be ready to sink your teeth into a gigantic bison-sized burger and expect to swallow wind. No, this is not a negative. Be aware of what to expect with high hopes that those who've been living this over the years with thousands of shows under their belt, they have a willingness to lean into your game saying, hey, winning is a choice. Winning is a choice. Podcast that I've put on my daily diet recently, Tony Robbins, who does a huge job on interviewing his famous guests in a truly heartfelt, motivational way. I'm also digging me some Conan O'Brien, who has honestly had a blast poking fun at the idea of inviting people over to his studio because he's looking for some friends. Trust me, though, the two of them are using the digital platform to sell their material. Hey, maybe that's what's missing from your show. You got to sell something. Make it sound bigger than life. I mean, that's what Wolfman Jack did on that monster-sized AM station in Mexico. He was always just selling something. I'm Arrow, and that's Pod Crashing.